Good morning, students. I am Dr. Asutosh Avasthi, and now today we will discuss some topics of fundamentals of crop physiology. Firstly, we will discuss diffusion, then osmosis, then how water is absorbed by plants, and then transpiration, and some very briefly aspects of stomatal physiology. Firstly, diffusion. The movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration down to the concentration gradient is known as diffusion. Here we can see that when we drop some molecules of dye, the concentration of dye in different parts of this beaker becomes different. At the place of dropping, there is more concentration, and at other places there are low concentration. After some time, we can see that the concentration of dye that becomes a solution of dye and water, it becomes equal at every place of the beaker. This is the process of diffusion. Diffusion may be of two types, that is simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Simple diffusion requires no channels, carrier proteins, etc. It facilitates the diffusion of molecules across the membrane without any type of proteins. But in facilitated diffusion, there are some types of proteins like channel proteins and carrier proteins that facilitate the movement of molecules across the membrane. But please remember that diffusion takes place according to the gradient of concentration. Diffusion is very important process for photosynthesis where carbon dioxide from stomata diffusion into the leaves and finally into the cells. And similarly, the water and minerals are transported through the xylem vessels by the process of diffusion. The smell of flowers diffuses in the atmosphere, which helps in pollination, and the transpiration is also caused due to diffusion, where the water vapor and the product of photosynthesis diffuses out to the atmosphere. The second process is osmosis. The osmosis is different from diffusion. In the osmosis, that is the movement of molecules cannot be possible because of presence of semi-permeable membrane. Here, the movement of solvent is only possible, and the spontaneous movement of solvent molecules through a semi-permeable membrane from a region of lower concentration to region of higher concentration is known as osmosis. It is very important process, and there are many uh, factors that are responsible for it. Here we can see that there are three types of solution on the basis of osmosis. One is isotonic solution, where uh, the same concentration is present at the both sides of semi-permeable membrane. In case of hypertonic solution, hyper, the higher solute concentration outside of the cell than inside. Hypotonic solution is one that has the higher solute concentration inside the cell than outside. Now we can see that in case of isotonic solution, the volume and the integrity of cell does not change up to some extent, but in case of hypotonic solution, cell absorbs most of the water, and after some time it bursts. In case of hypotonic solution, the cell tend to lose the water and it become plasmolized and shrinked. The osmosis is required for absorption of water from the soil and opening and closing of the stomata in various ways. Now we will see the absorption of water. It is the biological process in which the plant uptake capillary water from the soil to the root xylem through root hairs during various plant processes like respiration, transpiration, and osmosis. The water supply is an important factor which directly or indirectly influences all the plant activities such as photosynthesis, internal water balance, etc. In this picture we can see the path of water movement inside the root. The water enters in the root from root hairs, and there are two ways. One is apoplastic ways, another is symplastic ways. Yeah, and through apoplastic pathways, the water moves through the cell walls of the cells and it does not enter into the live cell. But in symplastic pathway, water enters from one cell to another cell, and uh, in this way it reaches toward the pericycle and endodermis of the roots. Because endodermis of the root contains Casparian strips, and the Casparian strips do not allow the movement of water through the cell wall. Therefore, all the volume of water passes into the cells of endodermis through symplastic pathway. There are two types of water absorption in plants. One is known as active absorption, where metabolic energy is used. Another is passive absorption, which does not require metabolic energy. As we can see that in presence of diffusion gradient, diffusion takes place spontaneously and it does not require any type of metabolic energy. Osmosis also does not require any type of metabolic energy because it happens due to the difference in concentration toward the either side of semi-permeable membrane. Another important process is transpiration. It is the process of water movement through a plant and its evaporation from aerial parts such as leaves, stems and flowers. And it is very important because the quantity of water absorbed by plant is majority of it lost to the environment due to the process of transpiration. And transpiration also cools plant as the evaporating water carries away heat energy. Here we can see the structure of stomata that are active sites of transpiration. These stomata are the natural openings in the epidermis of leaves, but they can also found on stems and some other parts of plant. These stomata do not remain open all day. There are some timings. They sometimes they are opened, sometimes they are closed on the basis of environment, on the basis of plant physiology, and there are guard cells that has a concentration of solutes, and on the basis of difference on the in the concentration of solutes in the guard cells, stomata opens and closes. Thank you. These are some topics which are very important for understanding some basic concept of crop physiology, and I will provide some study material and some supporting material, and please also do not hesitate if you have any type of question, any type of comments, etc. Thank you.